I hate to start the video off with a disclaimer like this. Earlier this week, Russ from Retro Game Core released a video on the MIG Switch version 2, the one with the button on the top. Coincidentally, this week I've also been working on a MIG video in the dumper, and just this morning, Russ tweeted that his video got a copyright strike and it was taken down. The way they do this is they claim the gameplay footage in the video. So in this video, you might see a lot of blurring on Nintendo games. So I'm sorry for that. It's ruining a bunch of beautiful B-roll, but that's just the world we live in. Please, after this video, go over to Retro Game Core's YouTube channel and like a random video and subscribe to them. Give them a little something, help balance it out a little bit. Hell, this video might not even be up for that long. You might have heard of this little device before. This is a ROM cart for the Nintendo Switch. What it does is it allows you to have a bunch of Nintendo Switch games on just one cartridge. So no need to take a whole book of games with you when you're out and about. You can just have this one. It's called the MIG Switch. Unfortunately, it's pretty much impossible to get right now. Production has been painfully slow. I pre-ordered mine months ago from some shady website, and that shady website has since been sued by Nintendo because they were selling hacked Switches with games on them, so they're gone now. I would love to say that this device is a perfectly legitimate way to collect your whole games library into one place, but unfortunately, it's pretty much useless without a hacked Switch, a pirated game with a big old asterisk on it, or the dumper. The dumper is actually the star of the show here. This is what allows you to take your games library and play it anywhere you want on whatever hardware you want. This is what really helps you collect your games library into one place. You can back it up on your computer and play it on that computer, or you can play it straight off of the cart without even moving it anywhere. This requires no extra storage space on your device. And best of all, it's more easily available. I think that's partly because there is nothing technically illegal about this. Backing up your games should be protected under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act so long as you ignore the provision that says that you can't use hardware to circumvent copyright protections. But we're like not circumventing anything. We're just backing up our games. There should be nothing wrong with that. It's ridiculous. They're trying to make everything illegal these days. Game backups, plastic straws, insider trading, healthy meals delivered right to your doorstep. This video is sponsored by Factor, a meal service that delivers healthy meals right to your doorstep. Factor's fresh and never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes in the microwave, or 7 minutes if you take your time to do it in the oven. All you have to do is heat it and enjoy it. Skip the grocery store prep work and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-curated, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. This has been great for me because I started a new diet, and let me tell you, looking up what I can eat according to that diet sucks. So having something that just comes to your door and it's ready to go is awesome. Otherwise, if I gotta figure out what I gotta eat, I gotta like do math. That sucks. And they've got smoothies and juices and wellness shots. I really like these juices. Why don't you stop listening to me and give it a try for yourself? Go to factor75.com/you hungry 50, and then that'll give you 50% off of your first Factor box and 20% off of your next month of orders. That's factor75.com/you hungry 50. You get 50% off of your first Factor box and next month of orders. 20%. Thank you. So the interesting thing here is the dumper, but I'm sure people are interested in the ROM cart too, the MIG Switch here. So I'm gonna talk a decent amount about that, and then we'll get to the dumper later. The MIG Switch ROM cart released first, and I'm sure most people are interested in that for its piracy applications. And I want to squash that right now. It absolutely sucks for piracy. The MIG Switch requires very specific game files to work. It essentially needs a raw game dump straight from a Switch. That would be the .xci folder with all of its certifications in there and everything. If you just download a Switch ROM off of the internet, it will not work. It's actually very hard to find raw dumps online. Don't Google what I just said. If your intention is to use this for pirated games, you probably won't like it very much. Otherwise, it's extremely simple to use. First, you go to the MIG-Switch website, download the update file, and put it on a micro SD card. This isn't 100% necessary, but definitely recommended. Then you take the raw .xci folder from the game you want to play and just drop that on the micro SD card. That is it. That's all you need to do to set this thing up. When you pop it into your Switch, you'll notice an LED at the top of the ROM cart. Let it flash for a bit. It's probably doing the update. And it might say that it failed to read the cartridge. Just try it again. If it continues to fail, there's a problem with the files you have or your micro SD card. I was using some cheap Micro Center micro SD card. I got a bunch of these. They've never failed me before, but the MIG-Switch couldn't even read it. I had to switch to a SanDisk, so the MIG-Switch is very particular about what micro SD card you use. It has to be a good one. I suspect that it had something to do with the read speeds of the micro SD card. But once you have all that sorted, when you pop the MIG-Switch in, a game should pop up on your Switch's screen. Now, if this is your actual game, it shouldn't matter if you're playing online or not. For added security, I'm playing on a different account on an old Switch on old firmware, and it's in airplane mode, so they ain't getting me at all. And everything just works exactly like it would on the original cartridge. Because this is your game. Nothing should be different here at all. Now, it gets complicated if you have multiple games on just one cart, because you can only show one game at a time. So in order to cycle between these games, you have to just remove and reinsert the MIG-Switch. It will cycle a new game every time you reinsert it. It is very silly. There is a newer version of the MIG-Switch out there that has a button on the top of the cartridge that you use to cycle between games. Obviously, I don't have that version. One of the reasons that I hate this thing is because having multiple games on this one cartridge doesn't always work all of the time. I was only messing around with it for a few minutes when it suddenly just decided that it only wanted me to play Mario All-Stars. And nothing I did would convince it to switch to another game. The only thing that worked was taking the micro SD card out, popping it into the computer, and deleting the NX index file, and I also deleted the update file just for good measure. But I don't think that was the culprit. Removing these files got it to swap games freely again. But imagine if you're on a flight or something and you loaded this thing up with a bunch of games and you pop it in and you all really want to play Tears of the Kingdom, but it will only let you play Mario 3D World. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of this thing, wouldn't you say? So for that reason, and also the fact that this thing doesn't really work that well with pirated games, I think this is pretty stupid and doesn't have that many use cases. I don't think I would recommend this to many people. But the dumper is cool. Yeah, I'm going to say dumper a lot. Get all the giggles out now. It says dumper on it. I'm not just saying that. It's real. It's the real name. The dumper does not come with a USB-C cable or anything. It's just the dumper. So find a USB-C cable for yourself, plug it into your computer, and pop in any Nintendo Switch cartridge. The game will show up on your computer as a new drive. That entire XCI folder with that long hexadecimal string of letters and numbers is the game file. That is your Switch game. I've been creating a folder on my computer with the name of the game. So for example, I'll take this folder and put it inside a folder called Super Mario Odyssey so I won't forget what game it is. And that's how easy it is to dump a Switch game. You can very easily do this to your entire games library to back it up, which should be legal if consumer protections meant anything in this country. And then once you have that folder, you can play it wherever you want. If you have title keys or prod keys set up in an emulator such as Yuzu or Ryujinx, you can just load up this .xci folder and very easily play your actual own Switch games on your PC or your PC handheld or even your Steam Deck. In fact, you don't even have to take the folder off of the cartridge at all. You can use the dumper to play the game straight from the cartridge. The cartridge shows up as a drive on the computer, so just run the game from the drive. That's it. You're playing an actual physical Switch game on something that isn't a Switch. It's awesome. To get the ROM cart to work on the Steam Deck, I think the best way to do it is to go into the desktop mode of the Steam Deck, open up Yuzu, set at least one of your game directories to the game cart or the MIG-Switch, and then open up Steam from the desktop mode, go to add non-Steam game in the bottom left-hand corner, and add Yuzu, and then load Yuzu up from actual Steam OS. Then you could load Yuzu just like you would any other game, and from there you can select the directory that would be the MIG switch. Whatever game you have plugged in there, it should just work. And that is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it looks like if you're gonna swap games or restart the Steam Deck, you're gonna have to remount the drive every time in desktop mode, which is pretty annoying. I should note that not all of the games have worked for me. Mario Wonder, for example, seems pretty finicky, but I think you just need updated firmware on Yuzu or Ryujinx, whatever you're using. I also suspect that some games might just be running too slow when they're running straight off of the MIG switch. That might cause some issues, but that's just me speculating. I have no idea if that's actually an issue. I'm also discovering all these cool mods you can do with Yuzu or Ryujinx. There's high frame rate mods for games. There's high resolution mods like 4K and Tears of the Kingdom, which is absurd. But there's also widescreen mods, and they're super easy to implement. I purchased one of these super long screens for a project that I'll have a video on very soon, so subscribe to see that. But look at this, Mario Kart in ultra widescreen. It's amazing. And that's a little taste of the future video. So with the dumper, you can take your physical games and play them wherever you want. You could potentially play them better than you could on a Switch. And even if you don't want to play your games on other platforms, it's just good for preservation. Having your physical games backed up digitally is sick. I'll note that when using the MIG switch on the Nintendo Switch itself, sometimes games won't work if the Switch hasn't been updated. Like, for example, Mario Wonder needs a system update in order to work. I also could not get Smash Brothers to work no matter how hard I tried. I guess that game is like almost 16 gigabytes. I'm sure something got corrupted in the transfer. It's a little bit plug and play, but not really. It's going to require a little bit of tinkering. Your mileage will definitely vary. There has been a bit of a controversy about this on the internet recently, not just because distributors are being sued by Nintendo. If you rip a game and put it on a cartridge like this and play it on a Switch that's connected to the internet, and someone else takes the actual physical game that you ripped from and plays that on a Switch that's connected to the internet, Nintendo could theoretically ban you both. People are theorizing that this could have catastrophic effects on the used games market because theoretically somebody could just rip a Switch game and then sell that game back to GameStop, and then somebody could buy that game. And now all of a sudden there's two copies floating around and two people could be playing that same game at the same time. So there's potential that buying a used game could get you banned in the future. I have a problem with this theory because both of the people get banned. It would be shooting yourself in the foot, ripping a game, selling it back to GameStop, and then continuing to play that game. It's a very dumb thing to do. Also, this is a highly specialized piece of equipment. Not a lot of people are going to be buying this thing. Most of the people who are watching this are not people who are going to be ripping a game and selling it back to GameStop. I could maybe see somebody making a bunch of bootleg copies of a game and then selling the master back to GameStop. But again, the chances of that happening are extremely low. Not many people are going to be interested in the MIG switch even. And the people who are most likely just going to rip their own game library. These are nerds. They're not trying. I don't think anybody's buying this to make a quick buck. The MIG switch is near impossible to get right now, and the dumper isn't exactly easy to find either. I pre-ordered mine months ago from a website called Modded Hardware. That's the website that got shut down. It took me a long time to get it. I also pre-ordered the dumper from that same website, and that never came. But I'll consider myself lucky, even though I lost $60, because a lot of other people didn't even get the MIG switch. And that money's just gone because that company's just gone. So I guess we're suckers. I managed to get the dumper from AliExpress. I will not be linking that in the description for fear of breaking some sort of TOS here on YouTube. But you can find it very easily by going to AliExpress and searching Switch dumper. For some reason, the name is Migi switch. Migi switch. It has also doubled in price since I ordered it a month ago. So I don't know, maybe keep your eyes on that. Maybe it'll go down in price. So the takeaway here is that the dumper's cool. Use this to boost your Switch emulation to the next level. Having files from actual hardware is pretty sick. Playing these games on alternative hardware is also sick. The MIG switch itself, not so much. I get the appeal, but I don't think I'll be using it really all that much after this. It's not for me. The dumper will get a lot of use. Dumper. I'm gonna end the video with this. Earlier this year is when the MIG switch dropped and was announced and whatever, and it was pretty much impossible to pre-order even back then, unless you wanted to pre-order from one of these shady websites that ended up scamming a bunch of people. So I emailed the website that was making the MIG switch, and they responded to me and they said, "Very nice channel, but you never covered any hack device, and we are pretty convinced you won't put a video out about our product." And that's all they said. So I don't know what channel they clicked on, but here's the video, guys. I gave you money and made the video. I hope you're happy. What do you guys think, though, about the MIG switch and the dumper? I'm sure you've seen other people's videos on this stuff. They've been slowly rolling out to people, so it's not like a big drop that happens with like legitimate products, where like it has a release date and everyone gets to play it and use it at the same time, and then the videos come out. In this case, it's like trickling out. So you're gonna get a bunch of different opinions on the thing very slowly. But I haven't seen much about the dumper. So hopefully this is some good insight into that. Leave it in the comments below if you got any questions or comments about it. At me on Twitter, any and all of this other social media garbage. Best place to reach me is probably twitch.tv/Wulff. You can talk to me live right there. Thank you, Factor, for helping sponsor this video and for keeping me fed. Don't forget to check them out at the link in the description below. Subscribe for more videos every single week, and also that video where I play more widescreen Nintendo Switch games and whatnot. And share this video with a friend who probably wants to dump some games and put them on their Steam Deck or something. Thank you very much. Have yourself a very good week.